It is Better Country 101.7 The Bull. Good to be with you here this morning. It is Wednesday, and that means it is time once again to chat with Heather Gerdes from our friends at Casebine, talking a little financial focus all month long, talking about that mindful spending. Heather, good to have you here this morning, and let's get into things here this morning. Talking about something, value over vibes. We hear people talk about vibes all the time, but value over vibes. Let's talk a little more about that.
Yeah, so values over vibes. It just means pausing long enough to ask yourself, does this spending choice match what actually matters in my life?
Now, that sounds very simple, but, let's be honest. How many times have you spent a little bit more because, you're feeling good in the moment, and you're like, yeah, probably shouldn't have done that.
We've all done it, though.
It certainly has. That late night food run,
Yes.
One more stop maybe downtown, or even that online order. It feels good at 11 o'clock, might not feel so good when you wake up in the morning.
Exactly. That's what this idea of values over vibes comes in, especially when we're talking about mindful spending.
Now, let's talk a little bit more about that, because the vibes are a very, very powerful thing.
Yes, they really are. So we're building off of last week. If we remember, we talked about loud budgeting. That was using your voice to communicate your priorities with your family and your friends. So values over vibes is communicating to yourself. That just means that pausing long enough to ask, does this spending choice match what actually matters in my life right now?
So it's not just do I want this right now? It's kind of, is this kind of helping me down the road? A little long-term thinking, right?
Correct. So mindful spending is about letting your money support your values. So like stability, family, security, and peace of mind, instead of just chasing that monetary feeling.
Well, and let's be honest here. Those vibes, even though they're good in the moment, they kind of wear off over time, right? They don't last all that long.
No, but the bills do.
Yeah, that and those bills certainly do. And we're talking with Heather Gerdes here from Casebine, especially here in the Midwest. You got the gas prices, You got the groceries, school stuff, sports fees, all that stuff. Money, it can go pretty fast.
It really does. And a lot of people feel the pressure to keep up, whether it's nights out, weekend trips, just trying to match what everyone else seems to be doing.
I think they have a word for that. I think it's called small town pressure. That
Yes,
is a thing.
yes.
Everybody knows that feeling right there. And that small town pressure really adds up too.
Exactly. In mindful spending, it just helps people step back and say, my life doesn't have to look like anyone else's to be successful.
Yeah, and that's kind of a big thing there, especially for families, young adults, folks just trying to stay afloat in this economy.
Yeah, it's not about never having fun. It's about choosing what matters most. Maybe that's just staying in one night a week so you can build a little savings. Maybe it's skipping the impulse buy so you don't stress when the utility bill hits.
And that's extra value, right?
Yeah, right. So when spending lines up with your values, you don't feel guilt, you feel control.
And that reduces the stress, makes you feel a little better, right?
Every time. When money starts working for you instead of against you, life just feels better.
So what is then one simple thing maybe that folks out there listening can maybe do today?
So before your next purchase, just pause and ask, is this about my values or just the vibe of the moment? That one question can change how you spend.
Values over vibes, right?
Always.
Certainly so, as we're talking with Heather Gerdes from Casebine here. And if you need any help figuring out, things in your life, Heather and the team at Casebine can certainly help you out, help the community out there. Real people, real conversations, no judgment, right?
Yeah, we're here to help. Your money support what matters most to you and your family.
Well, because mindful spending isn't about restriction, it's about freedom. But and then, that's a very important thing. You want to keep those two things in line, right?
That's right. So here is your next challenge for the rest of the week. Do a values over vibe spending check-in just once. Do you opt out of the purchase? You'll be surprised how good that feels.
Yeah. Okay. So there's your challenge this week. Heather Gerdes joins us every week and talks financial focus, and we'll talk to her again next week. Heather, good to see you. Have a great rest of your day.
Yes, you too. Thank you.